One thing I've learned about living in the UK is that most times the government does not send you any text message or email when they change the rules. They expect you to know. It is your responsibility to find out what rules have been changed and take the required action. In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 major changes in rules. If there are steps you need to take, I'll share it with you so that you would not be in the dark. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition abroad to be as smooth as possible. I share information about pension, taxes, retirement, anything that has to do with investment, remote work. If it's about making money, I'm going to share that video. Without wasting time, let's get into this video. First on my list is the new home buyers reform scheme. Now the government is changing the way people buy houses in the UK. Previously, as a buyer or a seller, you can actually walk out before the contract has been signed. But this time they are introducing some things that the seller has to do themselves. Remember that if you want to buy a house, most times you would want to carry out a survey, and sometimes it takes very long to achieve that. By the time you come back and say, okay, I'm ready for it and all that, then the seller might say, okay, the price has gone up. I don't think I'll sell at this price. You have spent your money. That money is gone. All the money you've spent at the beginning of that purchasing process, all gone. But this time around, they're changing it. The government wants to introduce a binding contract between the seller and the buyer so that nobody walks away without any consequence. And the seller is expected to provide some of the documents I'm going to show you on the screen. What do you think about this? Are you planning to buy a house in the nearest future, or do you want to sell your property? What do you think about this? Is this good news or bad news? The second news is about the British citizenship application. The government wants to introduce priority service such that you have to pay £500. So currently you don't have any priority service. You will submit your application and it will take 4 months to 6 months before they respond to you and book you your ceremony and stuff like that. But this time around, they're saying, hey, if you want it faster, it can come in 30 days, but you would have to pay £500. What do you think about this? Ways to make more money. What do you think about this? I'm just laughing. Don't mind me. I just feel like, yeah, it's going to get harder and harder. They're going to introduce more rules that will make more money for the government. The third news I have here is something that shook YouTube. YouTube sent me a message as a creator. You can imagine when the government is about to introduce some rules and the social media platform YouTube itself is sending a message to all content creators in the UK saying, hey, are you aware of this? This could change YouTube. As in, it could change everything for content creators. It could reduce our revenue. What is the government proposing? The government wants YouTube to prioritize content from BBC, ITV, all those channels where there is this press release, news and stuff like that. So if I open my YouTube, I would just see a lot of BBC and ITV content prioritized on the screen. What do you think about that? Yeah. So you might want something, but once you go to your homepage, you'll just see all these content from BBC, stuff like that. So what do you think? I'm not really in support of this. It just, I don't know what to say about this. There's this petition that someone opened and said, please, people should sign. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect me. It's going to affect our revenue as YouTubers. It's going to affect viewers on YouTube. People might just be pissed and move over to other social media accounts. In the UK, that is likely to happen. What do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? They feel that by doing so, they will reduce all these propaganda news and all these fake news about things that did not happen. So they want it to come out from trusted partners. What do you think? Do you think it's a good thing to do? The next one is about your lifetime ISA. It's about to be scrapped. I told you guys that they are likely to scrap it from the 6th of April 2027. It has been confirmed. They are going to scrap it and replace it with something else. And I don't think whatever they're going to replace it with would be better than this current lifetime ISA? I don't think so. So if you are someone between the ages of 18 and 39, please don't procrastinate. Don't keep pushing it behind. Open one and put £1 so that you can have it. There are many advantages of you having a lifetime ISA. The government would add 25% to anything you put there. The maximum you can put in an account is £4,000. And note that you can only withdraw from the age 55. Yeah, if you decide to withdraw earlier, there might be some charges. I'm not going to talk so much about it. So it's always good for you to open one if you are sure that this is the country you want to stay in for a long time. You can use it to buy your first house. It's something you can explore, and you can continue to contribute till you turn 50. So 25% is a good deal in my opinion. What do you think? Fifth on my list is that from April 2027, your national insurance will be connected to your bank account. Right now, the HMRC is contacting all the banks and telling them, hey, make sure you gather the national insurance of all the people who hold an account with you. So expect that letter, expect that email. They have a deadline to comply and provide all those things. They want to connect it. They want to monitor every penny that comes into your account to know when it exceeds the, personal allowance, especially for savings account and your ISA. They said it will not affect current accounts. That's what they said. For savings, any interest on your savings can be taxed, and everybody has a personal allowance for that. Sixth on my list is that HMRC is proposing to deduct your taxes from your bank account. So directly from your bank account. They are doing this to be able to get all the taxes, especially those people who avoid taxes or evade taxes. If they feel that this is the amount you owe and you have not paid that amount, the proposal is that they want to be able to access your bank account directly and take their money. They could take it in installments, something like that. That is what the proposal is all about. I'll just show you what it looks like. Go and read it for yourself. So what can you do about this? It means that you have to pay your taxes on time, read all the letters you have. If the bank asks you for your national insurance, provide it. Yes, you can't escape it. You don't want your account to be frozen or something like that. I didn't say they will freeze your account, but this is the times we are living in now. They just want to take it so that you don't need to do self-assessment. They feel that they are taking the burden of doing a self-assessment from you, so they just want to withdraw it. Oh my goodness. I don't know. What do you think about this? If you've lived in Nigeria, you know that that's the system that is there. Once you have money in your account and you generate some interest, what happens is that the government comes for the money. They come for their percentage, and you would see that a lot of deduction. So that's what HMRC is trying to do. They want to do the same thing that some other countries do. What do you think? Would you be comfortable doing that? Will it save you from self-assessment? If that is the only type of business that you need to incorporate, it might be okay. I don't need to do a self-assessment because this is the only thing that I might need to do if I need a self-assessment. But if you don't need to do it, yeah, what do you think? It might not be a big deal for some people, but it might be a big deal for others.